Simply a college neighborhood, a neighborhood of nightlife, Lincoln Park. While both of those statements may be true, this neighborhood is not defined by those statements. I'm going to talk about those two statements plus three others. This is 5 myths you need to know about Lincoln Park, Chicago. There's no mistaking that the college, DePaul that is, university, dominates the real estate of Lincoln Park. But different from Madison, Wisconsin, or Columbus, Ohio, or Champaign, Illinois here in the state of Illinois, it's not defined by that university. DePaul, private institution, with its athletics, its gorgeous campus there right at on Sheffield, a theater school just a little bit up north on Racine, and they of course have a downtown campuses, some of the post-secondary schools. It's unmistakable. You can't deny that it's a really big part of Lincoln Park. But as I said, unlike those other college towns, you can't really call this a college neighborhood because, Chicago with all these neighborhoods, you have so many neighborhoods around there. It's just a small fraction. You're gonna see it. Don't mistake it. You're gonna see the students, but it's not considered. You can't really call it that college neighborhood. So that's myth number one. With the college campus and college students comes, I guess, cheap cuisine, right? I had a little fun there with the title of this myth. But no, see, that is actually a myth. Yes, of course there are cuisines and foods to cater, right? It's, of course, any good business owner catering to the demographic. But there are plenty of top-notch cuisines available here in Lincoln Park, Chicago. You have Summer House over on Halsted with more of kind of like a California, new American cuisine. You have world famous, and I think at one time it was number 1 in the world, or top 10 at least, Alinea, also over on Halsted, top notch. Grant there does a great job with his team. You have Mon Ami Gabi over closer to Lincoln Park, the actual Lincoln Park in East Lincoln Park, with a great French bistro. So those are just 3. Of course, there's other ones too, but that is a myth. You're gonna have your college grub, and I remember post-grad going to Allende, one of my favorite places right there on Lincoln for cheap eats, but you also, as I mentioned, got 3 great options for stellar cuisine. So yes, real estate in general in Lincoln Park, Chicago can be very expensive. So expensive, in fact, that on House Street, which is very close to Lincoln Park High School, there's some of the most expensive real estate in the Chicago area, multi-million dollar homes, but that is just a portion of Lincoln Park. So mom and dad, if you've got a child that's going to DePaul, you want them to experience that, have that college experience for 1 year, but then their sophomore year, you can actually consider and look for, there's some 2-bedroom, 1-baths in the high 300s, low 400s, mid 400s. Don't get me wrong, it is a mature neighborhood. There is quote-unquote expensive real estate, but of course, it is also kind of shielded from the rest. We are going to be entering here in 2023 a recession, and it's always going to be a good investment. So you could consider, mom and dad, buying a property for your child, and of course they can get roommates to offset that costs. So yes, you do have that multi-million dollar, definitely real estate, wonderful gorgeous mansions, but you also have condos that are affordable, so it's not all expensive real estate. The neighborhood of nightlife. So listen, naturally with college students, and just kind of I like to speak from personal experience. I would go to some of these bars with my buddies some time ago, 10, 15 years ago. And so there is an element, but there's an element in majority of a lot of Chicago. It's one of the kind of advantages of Chicago. There is definitely a nightlife, but it is on one stretch, kind of concentrated, the Lincoln, Fullerton, Halsted area. And if you live in the more western portion, it gets a little quieter because you understand it's a community. There's many families there. There's top-notch schools, elementary. We got Parker. You have both private and, of course, one of the best, Lincoln Park High School. So you have a combination, elementary, high school, private, and CPS. So of course, naturally, families flock there. But yes, you may have that section here. You can see here, if you're going down on Lincoln, and you can experience that. That's just too simple to be calling it the neighborhood of nightlife. There's a section of it, but if you actually kind of look more on the western portion of Lincoln Park, it calms down. You can find some great housing over there, and of course, families flock to that area of Lincoln Park. And they're also on the eastern part too. So there's a section, but it's more of a myth. It's not completely a neighborhood of nightlife. 278. Hello to my 278 subs to my channel, The Chicago Life. Thank you as always for watching. And for folks that haven't subscribed, don't worry, I'm going to continue to show value to you. If you don't know who I am, right here, finger, Anant Deoras, AD, an EXP Realtor, focusing on the city, providing you information on the neighborhoods, as I'm doing now with Lincoln Park, Chicago, and real estate. I help first-time buyers, first-time sellers, and those downsizers. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and let's continue on with the video. One of the kind of drawbacks, cons, I guess, for lack of a better word, of Lincoln Park is it's getting a little bit corporatized, a little corporate feel, a little sterile, a little, dare I say, suburban. And yes, there are portions there, particularly on that kind of Lincoln Avenue stretch as you're going north. South. There is that kind of little corporate feel. However, there are still plenty of mom and pops, right? So there's this myth that everything Lincoln Park is turning corporate. That is an absolute myth. We have here Cafe Barbariba. It has been a Spanish stalwart in the neighborhood since 1985. Glascott's, actually I know one of the Glascott's kids, Sean, great guy. He's a broker when I was over at the previous brokerage. Great guy. His family owns Glascott's Saloon. It's been there since 1937. You have Pequod's Pizza, famous, deep dish. Sorry, don't at me. I know I've been hating on deep dish, but they got that caramelized crust, been open since 1992. So those are just a couple there. There are mom and pop, you can find them. Reach out to me if you have any questions. So yes, there's corporate feel, but it doesn't define it. That's a myth. There's plenty of mom and pop places in Lincoln Park, Chicago. Five myths. 5 myths that you should know about living in Lincoln Park, Chicago. Yes, I am Anant Deoras, AD. We have reached a conclusion, but this isn't the conclusion of your journey on my YouTube channel, The Chicago Life. I've got a playlist of actually other neighborhoods I want you to check out. I'm going to continue to do neighborhoods. If you have any questions, make sure you comment. Always comment below. And I'm happy to help. Thank you for watching. Watch the playlist, continue watching videos, and I will see you, as always, twice a week on the Chicago Life YouTube channel.